Did he take a right?
He's on his way. Sure, there's nothing wrong with this McCullough.
Do you have enough memory this time?
As long as we don't go beyond
Yeah, we
2 hours,
realized
we're good.
it goes for 2 hours and then shuts itself off. So it actually recorded last month for 2 hours and then that's it.
That was on.
So keep that in mind. We can only go for 2 hours at a time. If it's too long,
It works better if it's under an hour. No pressure.
I'm not feeling any, so I'm good.
Just on your back.
Just in the back. There he is.
Sorry.
You're good. All right, we'll get the meeting started with the Pledge of Allegiance. All rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Fire exits are marked. If you do have your cell phone with you, we ask you if you have them turned off or on silent so we don't get interrupted. And can we have a roll call?
Henry Hale,
Yes.
Basil LaForest,
Here.
Roger Black,
Here.
Marianne Alexandria.
Here.
Patrick Duhane,
Here.
Stephen Einhoff.
Here.
Alan Reese.
here,
Brett Baker.
And can we have a motion that the meeting was advertised as required?
I'll make a motion.
And a second?
I'll second.
And roll call vote on that?
Henry Hale,
Yes.
Basil LaForest.
Yes.
Roger Black,
Yes.
Marianne Alexandria.
Yes.
Patrick Duhane.
And can we have a motion to approve last month's minutes and waive the reading of those minutes?
I'll make a motion. Second.
And roll call vote on that?
Henry Hale,
Yes.
Basil LaForest.
Yes.
Roger Black,
Yes.
Marianne Alexandria.
Yes.
Patrick Duhane.
And old business.
Mr. Chairman, the first one's gonna be 1087 Gregory's End. Come up in front and center here. He's asking for an area variance right up here at the desk. He's asking for, yes, sir. Request to be allowed to have a previous condition of approval regarding a deck in the side yard. There's an original variance dated back to March 1st, 1990, rescinded. He was coming in for a permit, and Alan actually went into our old minutes for variances and found this one. And it very specifically said a deck will never become a porch in the minutes and the agreements. So therefore, we could not write a permit for what he wanted to do. Alan can go over the details of what he's looking to do and where he's looking to build and ask for it.
here, Mr. Chairman. We're out on Cumberland Head, Algonquin Park Road. We're looking at this house right here. It's all zoned R4. So you may remember this a couple of years back, came in, was wanting to do some work, and that's kind of gone to the side now. So he has a deck that sits right here behind this garage. So the house was actually built in 1990 with the variance installed. At the time, the garage wasn't there. There was a condition of approval that said this view shed had to remain open. In 2002, the owner at the time came in for a variance, amended the variance to allow this garage to be built, which now this garage is directly in front of that deck, which therefore there's no more view shed there. So when he came in to do his, I found that, and it's like, so it should have been rescinded back then. Not sure why it wasn't here in 2002, but we are trying to correct that. That's why it's here tonight. So here's the house today. So there's the garage. So I'm standing directly in front of the house looking straight back. Here I'm over to the side. So you can see here's the property line is right here. There is a hedge here. That deck sits directly behind this side of the garage. And this is what we're talking about right here. So that deck is right there, it's right with the edge of the garage back, and this is what he's looking to close in, is this area here. Okay. Now you may, this area here, in the previous pictures, so here's the house. This is no longer there anymore, that burnt down and was torn down. That was a log cabin sitting there. So this is now completely wide open. So you see any pictures about view sheds? There's a big view on that side right now, but somebody could come back and build there at any time. So the rest of these slides are what the applicant has submitted. So this is his existing setup and what he's wanting to close in over here.
You guys can take it from there.
I've got plans here, there's some plans on them. That's what it would look like. That's where this is where the existing deck is now. Okay, if people would be directly behind the garage, and all you would see it for.
So it's gonna be completely enclosed then?
Well, it'll have like screen in it, but it'll be wood on the bottom part, and a
And
roof over the top, so.
year-round or just seasonal?
The one part will be seasonal, and then behind the garage, it'll be like a second room, where it look like a dining room table or something. Because the house is so small, like living room small, dining room small, so I wanted to get a living room, have a little dining room out there.
So, just looking at your plan. So right behind the garage is a deck.
Right.
And then it's called, I don't know what it is, some type of room, you called it behind there?
Okay, see?
With what you submitted.
Looks like proposed.
Proposed, is that proposed?
Yes, that's proposed, like dining room out the kitchen with the door right here, that'd be a screened in porch. And it'll be behind the garage.
So right now, if you look up there, from right here to the backside of the garage, all of this and this is there. Oops. It's just from here, this point to this point right here, this is all deck. This actually is a deck, but it has a roof over it.
I had him draw up this, that's what it would look like. Okay. And then I guess if I'm denied, I understand I can still build a freestanding structure next to it, which would look like that. I guess that's what I would have to do if we decide to,
Is that the 12 by 12 that they're allowed now?
Correct.
Right?
Right, 12 by 12, don't need a permit, 3 feet off the property line.
Yeah, it's gonna block more view.
Does it have to be
More ugly.
certain distance from the main structure?
Yeah.
Has to be, if it's too close, it has to be fire rated. You can be a foot or 2 feet off the main structure,
No, no,
fire rated. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to make it nice with neighborhood and do everything right, I talked to a couple of neighbors, and they seem to be okay with it, so.
We'll open up the public hearing portion of the meeting. Anybody here would like to speak to that matter? Not seeing anybody raise a hand or come forward, we'll close the public hearing portion of the meeting and ask board members questions or comments that they have.
Just to clarify, when the last variance was granted with restrictions on it, were you the owner or was there another owner?
No, that was like 34 years ago for the original one, and then the garage, I think, was like 10 or 12 years ago, I think, so.
20 years ago,
I bought the place 4 years ago.
2002, so. Yeah. Many people were here then. Yeah, old time Steve. Mary Ann, any thoughts?
Is that, you have proposed room and deck, so is that little area deck gonna be there, or is that all part of the dining room?
There's still be,
The deck would be screened in and then the proposed room would
There would be,
finished.
Oh.
deck basically there, and then
Uh-huh.
that portion would be.
that little deck right there would still stay there.
Okay, so you're gonna screen that in, or no? Okay,
Open.
So I thought one of the comments that you said was because of your wife's insect.
that too. You're gonna screen this
Right.
back porch back here.
Oh.
You're gonna extend that 3 seats
That'll still be
in.
there.
There should be basically the garage, obviously, the
So
open
the
deck.
void,
Back
3 different
there,
things.
that would just be open deck, right?
You know, there's a doorway out there.
Yeah, and then this would be, screened in, so they could sit on the lakeside, but it would be right in line with the, you look straight on at the house from the road, you wouldn't even see it. If you go to the side, you'll.
Mr. Chairman, might be easier if the applicant and the engineer discusses that stuff instead of individually with you guys on a board so the audience can see.
All right, so from what I'm understanding right now, we're talking about 3 different proposals here. One is to keep the deck there, the first deck. The second portion is to do a proposed room behind that deck. And then the third one is the proposed green room behind that proposed room.
Well, the deck would say, the deck's there now, the deck won't change.
Oh, no, but it's still putting a roof on things and that's.
Not on that one part of the deck, no, just on the front part.
Well, there's a roof already in the back.
Yes,
Yes.
back here, that 3-season room, it was on the back of you. Can you pull that
Yeah.
up, that one?
Show it up on the board, then the
Yeah.
people can see too.
Yeah.
This is the garage now.
Right.
This is all deck now.
Right.
Okay, this deck would stay here. This will be a room off of here, up for dining room table, and that'd be the screened-in porch right there.
But you got a 3-season room, right?
That's
to the
what,
right of that.
To the
That-
right,
Yes, that's existing.
that's an existing, that's got a roof and.
Yes.
And everything, okay. So, okay.
Does that go from side to side?
this here goes from here to here.
So you're gonna put another roof on over the other one?
Here, correct.
See, this deck is staying.
That deck stays, this gets turned into a room and this gets screened and roofed for another room.
That would be the side view there.
They're not gonna have a big.
That'd be a side view there, so.
Yeah.
So the original restrictions was to maintain a view past that whole structure.
Right, so what it was is there was in a discussion, it said that they wanted to maintain a view shed on that side of the house. So that's why he was, the person at the time was allowed to build a deck, but not put a roof over it or enclose it.
That's before the garage was there.
Right, but that was, yeah, the garage wasn't there, that was just when the house was being built. So when the board granted the variance for the garage, because they had to grant the side yard expansion of it, at that time, they didn't, 2002, 1990, they didn't go back and look at the 1990 conditions of approval, and they granted a garage, which basically overrode what their condition of approval before. It created a blockage of the view shed. So they should have rescinded it then when they granted it that time, but
He said most of the height is a problem for people living across Algonquin Park Road. It will block out the view of homes and cottages now in the future before knowing that all lots on the edge will be 2.5 stories, homes blocking all views of the lake, like on North Margaret Street in the city. So it was the opposition of the people around the other side.
Right.
I have a question. The opposition of the people on the other side is about the view. We bought and paid the money and paid taxes for the view. The people across didn't. So why would we suffer for the inconvenience of these people?
Because you're asking for a variance. Because it's
Yeah,
not
they are.
allowed. You're not allowed to build there. So you're asking for the variance.
Yeah, but some
So-
people are mad because we're building.
right, so the town has, you have your property, your square property, right? And then we have certain distance from your property line to where you built the structure. And the reason we have that is so that view between everybody's houses stays for everybody. You pay for being on the lake, but the view from across the road, because they're paying more than a person living in the middle of town because they're close to the lake. But the way zoning works is that view is still there. We don't want you to build right up to your property line and then nobody can see past your house.
It's like existence.
That's the way it was in 1990. So
What
that's
about
why.
now?
Matt, that's why we're here now. Yeah, you only got
I
10
just
foot on that
wanted,
one
I
side.
just
I'd say
wanted
that's
Yeah.
some
not
opinion,
taking
why?
the view away anymore. I guess if you're on that angle looking, behind the house, it would now be, there would be a wall there instead of a screen, but it's, you got that corridor still down the whole left side of the property.
Well, I mean, if you look at it, right,
Right there, you'll
right
still
there.
have that.
there's still a hedge there.
Yeah,
No matter what you do and look back there,
you're not gonna see.
you're not gonna get a view on that side of the house.
Not a good view.
So,
And that's staying.
What's that?
The hedge is staying?
Yes.
Hedge is gonna stay?
Yep.
Yes.
yeah, and then you got additional hedges on at the other end of the fence.
Right.
So you can see there's a deck that goes all around, it's all there right now. And you can see a corner of the roof over the deck directly behind the house on the lakeside.
Yeah, I can see it now.
So,
Yeah,
he's not, if you rescind the condition, then he's built on the same footprint of what's there.
Right.
So, doesn't matter if he closes it in, makes it permanent to the house, or makes it deck, screen porch, that does not matter. That's already there, he can build on top of that without getting approval from you guys.
So basically, it's gonna be to approve the rescinding of the variance from 1990 to allow roofs to be built over decks, or deny it.
That is correct. Rescinding, where's the number? I'm sorry.
Why do we have to rescind it? No, I understand that. Well,
So,
they got a variance for the garage, they didn't rescind it.
so only,
So why would we have to rescind it as opposed to,
Because it was
Approved.
overlooked at the time.
why do we have to rescind it versus just approve it due to the conditions that the garage is already there?
so basically, it's an administrative thing. The ZBA should have rescinded it in 2002, and they did. So in order to clean up the mess, that's what they're here to ask you guys to do. It's already there, I mean, the garage is already blocking it. They just want you to administratively say, yep, should have been done back then, we agree, let's do it now. That's all they're asking for.
We can't change, we as code officers can't change the zoning board of appeals decision for the appeal number 1087 request from them from 3/1/1990. So I don't disagree with what you just.
I just wanna make sure it doesn't put us
No.
into a legal bind in future
Oh, I know.
because we were doing something that we don't necessarily have to do.
I mean, if
If we
something,
can approve the variance without rescinding, it seems that would be,
Modifying the original variance, because we did a request for a rehearing. I know we don't have an attorney here, so we've done modifications of variances where people said it didn't work, that we come back. So
Right.
there's modifications or there's rescinding original variances. Either one of them are perfectly legal. It's whatever the applicant, we're giving options.
right,
So whatever the applicant is asking for, that's what they're going for. Those are two avenues. You can either rescind and saying that it's no longer needed, or modify, or just, because if it was,
if we're just here to rescind, we're not approving a variance,
right,
which would
but
have to be asked for in order to approve this building.
and that's what they're asking. So it's whatever the applicant is asking for.
Okay,
For us to suggest a couple things is one thing, but we can't. The
Change the
application
application.
that's right in front of you.
so basically, you're reapproving that old variance with everything except for that one condition about the view shed.
If
So
you
nothing
choose
else is
to.
gonna change. So basically, that one variance gave them their setback, their 10-foot setback for the house. That's why the deck's there. So you're not gonna rescind that part. You're gonna sit there and say, yep, that's still good. Only thing we're doing is rescinding the part about the view shed. So the variance.
Shed's
and
already
there's no
been
request for a variance needed to build this structure that's being proposed?
No, because if the deck wasn't there, he would.
Okay.
The deck's already there. He's built on top of the deck. If he was making it any bigger, he
That would
would.
be a difference, okay.
Expansion of the non-conforming use.
Yeah.
If we don't rescind, what does that mean for the garage?
It leaves us, in my own opinion, and non-lawyer opinion, it leaves us vulnerable for a lawsuit. Turn around,
For a lot of garage?
turn around and sue us for, not rescinding it when the garage got built.
Inside his house, he only owned the place 4 years.
He did, I know, but we are telling him he can't build there because of that condition. He could easily come back and say, well, back in 2002, this board, even though it wasn't you guys, should have rescinded it when they allowed that person at the time to build that garage. Why didn't they do that? and we'll more than likely get right back to where we are today, and the judge will sit there and say, good point, you're not tearing the garage down, so,
We don't wanna speak on behalf of it.
yeah.
I think you're playing an attorney right now, like, easy.
That's Alan W. Reese's opinion, that's it.
That's his feelings.
Yeah.
And we don't go on feelings.
We-
of what a
we-
judge is gonna say.
So I'll make a motion to rescind that, the roof part of that, and that they can enclose the area on the current footprint. The porch and the.
No, they're not
It's
asking.
on the current footprint.
They're not asking for the,
Only asking for a rescission.
just a reset.
Yeah.
Just a reset.
That'd be-
As soon as we rescind it, would allow them to
Mhm.
move over.
But we don't have to, yeah. But that's
I'll
part of the
second
approval.
that. Okay, a show of hands. And a roll call vote.
Without the roofing verbiage,
Without the roof.
so we're just looking to rescind.
Mhm.
Just looking to rescind, yeah.
Rescind the 1990 no roof over a deck. Ever.
Henry Hill,
Yes.
Basil LaForce,
Yes.
Mary Ann Alexander,
Yes.
Roger Black,
Yes.
We need that in.
Patrick Duhane.
Yes. Thank you.
Thanks.
Good evening. And new business?
Next one, yes, Mr. Chairman. Next one's gonna be Champlain Center, if you guys would like to come up. They're asking a request to allow to utilize a former Sears garage space for parking of tow trucks, temporary storage of tow vehicles, which is not allowed in a T5 district. Alan's got the details and where they're looking at going and doing and the operation.
Mr. Chair, I'm pretty sure everybody knows where the mall is, this big large building right here, Smithville Boulevard here, Route 3 here, I-87 here. Sears used to be at the end over here, now where Hobby Lobby is. This little bump out right here used to be the automotive center. It is also, all the red here is a T5 area, which the mall sits in. So here's that bump out right there. This used to be the Sears Automotive Center, garage door on either side. Here's what it looks like today. So here, this is what the applicant has provided for us. So here's that bump out right there compared to the layout of the mall. Here's kind of what it looks like inside. She's given some distances from basically the ring road, so 160 feet off the edge of the ring road to the garage door. 91 feet off the back side of this ring road here. Okay.
Hi, I'm Lisa Getty. I'm the general manager at Champlain Center. And the Sears garage, Sears left in 2016. The garage has been vacant and unleased since then. As you can see, it's from the pictures he showed earlier, cement floors, concrete walls. It's not suitable for retail. Sears actually filled in the bays when they left, so it actually isn't really even a turnkey kind of thing to be a repair shop again. We have had a few people interested in possibly using it. At one point, there was talk about maybe like for automobile detailing and spray painting and that kind of thing. So at one point a few years back, which is in the information I provided, we had gotten some quotes to bring it up to code as far as water and bathrooms and so forth. It was cost prohibitive for everybody who was, well, everybody. There's been two that have been interested to date other than the one I'm going to speak on tonight. It was cost prohibitive for either of them to proceed with looking at leasing that space. So it still remains empty. But now we have a prospective tenant that is definitely interested in taking it. He already operates the batting cages, Lake City Sports Club, at the mall. So he has his own bathrooms, and I did confirm with Alan Reese back in May that by him having access to those bathrooms, which he has access to 24/7, that satisfies the requirement of having bathrooms, since he does have bathrooms on site. And it would only be him using the garage. He also runs a tow truck company. That's what he's interested in using it for, is excuse me, to literally park his tow truck since he's at the mall so much. That way he wouldn't have to drive to where he has parked now and then go to help a stranded motorist or anybody that needed a tow. So he's interested in renting it to keep his tow truck in that garage. He saw the 2 garage doors that are both set back. So the coming and going would only be, you know, for AAA calls and that sort of thing. So it's not an all-day thing. It's not even necessarily an everyday thing. It's whenever he would get calls. So for him to come and go on that far end with the setback distance from the inner ring road, it should not have any effect on traffic, either cars or pedestrian traffic. He would be the only one using it. There would from time to time possibly be a wrecked car, like if he has to go to an accident to tow some cars and they don't know where they want to take their car yet, to what body shop. Sometimes there would be temporary storage. Again, that would just be on occasion. It might be 1 car and rarely sometimes 2 cars and never more than that. There's no visibility from the outside, so it would not be an eyesore, wouldn't create any impact on the characteristics of the neighborhood. He won't need any signage, I promise you. So it's really just a place to park his truck and to keep cars on a temporary basis. And we really have not had any luck leasing it any other way. So this would be one small way. It's not a huge thing. You'd just be paying $1,000 a month, but it's better than sitting empty. And, you know, it'd be a benefit to him and a benefit to us and a benefit to motorists in Plattsburgh because he would be able to get to them that much sooner. I'm happy to take any questions.
All right, so you have 2 different proposals for the addition of a bathroom.
Right, we had to get multiple quotes.
Well,
This was just to give an idea.
right,
I mean,
they're from the same company, so I'm just, one's 2256 and one's 2255. So is one Bob's is doing all the work, and second one, Bob is doing not all the work?
let me pull them up. I don't remember specifically what they were. They were just kind of for an example. I believe one included, let's see.
Restrooms. I don't know if it's.
Right, it was all for restrooms, but I think there's 2 different companies here and they were for different things.
Yeah, or the sprinkler system. for the bathroom.
Yeah, because it was a multiple phase thing. It needed water brought into the space first, so that's one part of it.
Sears garage restrooms. That's what the project location.
They should have, like you said, they should have upset some sprinkler systems or this. And the other one there.
Are you indicating that there's not sprinklers currently in that area?
No, there is,
There
it's
is.
modification.
So why does it say to reinstall them?
It was modification to put sprinkler in the restrooms.
Just for the restrooms is 18,000?
No, that's the restrooms, the 9,000 for the sprinklers.
So there is an active sprinkler system in there now.
Oh, absolutely.
Refeed the existing sprinkler system from new water.
Right, existing sprinkler system, so it is there. They would just have to refeed water for a bathroom for domestic water.
The sprinkler system is being fed out of Hobby Lobby sprinkler room, and that's where the domestic water is gonna come from. Eddie Garrow is gonna, take the water to the existing sewer just south of the building. Tom Juber of Northeast Retail was gonna be building the bathrooms. Osmond Plumbing was gonna be feeding or doing all the plumbing for the bathrooms, and Ace Electric was gonna be doing the electric for the bathrooms.
And just to be clear, none of this would need to be done for this tenant. These were quotes we had gotten 3 years ago, so they're probably triple this now. But this was back when a previous prospective tenant was looking into the space and wanted to know what it would cost to in order to operate there. And the bathroom being part of the code, this is all part and parcel of what would have been included in having to get it able to have bathrooms. So as soon as these prices started coming in, because this is not comprehensive of the scope of work that would need to be done. This was just, the first few proposals we got, and then they were like, no, we're out, we don't want it that badly.
Right, so in the T5 district, which the mall is now,
Mm-hmm.
there are a list of uses that can be done without any type of variance. And what you're supposed to be doing is showing us why those cannot be operated out of that space.
Well, that's why I was talking.
I understand, but
Oh.
it's supposed to be, that's what you're trying to show us, that nobody wants to spend that much money to go into.
Well, not just the money, but just the configuration of the space, the location, the cement floors, the concrete walls. It's not suitable for retail. Nobody's gonna open a store there. So,
Well, that's what the mall is, though. It's all
I know.
concrete floors and concrete walls, so. And that's why I'm looking
Well.
at it to say, that, you know, that's what we're supposed to have in front of us, is to say that, some of these are just by site plan. Automobiles, rental facility out of there, repair and service, sales, brewery, childcare. There's a lot of different uses that we should be looking at.
And just to clarify again, you're requesting a use variance for a leased business. It's, you know, if he terminates his lease, then what do we do with the use variance?
well, I don't know how variances are written, but I did have here in the second to last paragraph, I said I would like to emphasize the request is solely applicable to the garage space for this agreement, and will only pertain to the proposed licensee, Safe Toes is their name. And I'm not looking for the variance for the whole property or to extend anything beyond him specifically using it for however long he would be there.
And if he leaves the batting, what happens to his bathrooms usage?
If he would not have the batting place,
Yeah.
he wouldn't want the garage then either. He only wants it in tandem because he's there all day. So, and I appreciate what you're saying as far as I didn't think to specifically go into the reasons it can't be retail or these other uses. But it just seems to me that using a garage to park a truck in is actually the easiest of all those things you listed it could be used for.
I realize
So-
that, it's just, our hands are tied to be able to say everything's in the proper order that we've reviewed and come up with this conclusion.
Okay.
That's why. So, open the public hearing portion of the meeting. Anybody here like to speak to this matter? And not see any hands raised, I will close the public hearing portion of the meeting and ask board members if they have any comments or concerns or questions that they would like to have answered.
May I ask a question? Would I be better off tabling it then and coming back with why we can't do the other uses? I mean, I don't want it
Well,
to.
that is one of the main things that we would have to have in place.
I mean, because I'd rather not take a vote and get it voted no, just because we didn't explore all those options or, you know, show proof of why we can't. But on the other hand, I'm not sure how much I can bring to the table on that, because we haven't had enough interest to even say, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know it can be used for retail and you say that's what the mall's for, but as you can see, nobody's gonna put a store there. They're just not.
I know exactly what you're saying, and
Okay.
I appreciate, you know, the position that you're in. There is, on a use variance, it's the negative declaration of a seeker that has to be gone through. And also there's a list of 10 different items, I believe. Yeah.
I have two questions for we.
Well, no, the 10 different items that you should be going through, say, you know, the financial problem, if it's a change in the area, there's.
Each one has to be met. The same way that this board has asked 5 other ones for use variances, you have to show that you put it on the market, that you marketed it, that you had no interest, how long has it been on the market, what you put it on the market, what is the square footage for it, and then all the other uses that are on that allowed use table for the T5 district. You have to show all the above. Just because it sounds and looks good, they still have a balancing test that has to be met.
So that was actually one of my questions was, if you made the actual changes, which the bathroom is a change, you have to have that bathroom before anybody can actually use it. So if you made that change, what could you rent the space for? You say that, and then you've got to prove to them that, you know, I can only rent it for this much because of, for whatever reason, show that it would still be a loss or whatever. The other thing is, what was the intention of keeping it in the first place? You did a renovation, you added a Hobby Lobby in there, you renovated the whole thing, you had a Coles there, renovated the whole thing, but you kept that garage. Why? What was your intention for keeping it? Why didn't you just tear it down?
Are you asking me, or are these the things I should bring back?
I'm putting that question to you so you can answer it some way when you come back. You can either answer it today or you can answer it when you come back.
Well, when Hobby Lobby took their space, they didn't want that space. To tear it down costs money, and we're not looking to spend money if we don't have to. I mean, that's the simple answer to that.
What businesses were the other two applicants when you got these quotes?
One was, I don't know if I'm at liberty, well, I guess it doesn't matter, they went somewhere else, but there was somebody contracted with Nova Bus to put the graphics on the side of the bus. Okay. And I'm not even sure where they ultimately went, I think maybe somewhere on the base. But they needed something with high ceilings, and so this was one of the few spaces where they could bring a bus in and have the ceiling clearance to do that. And there was also interest from, and I don't want to say the name of this because I think he's still looking, but there was a garage where partners were splitting and he's looking for another location, but he couldn't do it because there's no base.
Okay.
So.
Right, so would you want to go through the tabling and then be able to go back through and?
Well, the question I have, I mean, the detailing is a listed use, correct? So what you're stating is if the corrections are made to the facility to bring it up to code, then the allowed uses would work. And so it negates the idea that you're having a financial hardship because nobody wants to go in there. It seems to me that the only reason why nobody's going in there is because it's not up to code. But if it goes up to code, then it defies your argument that nobody wants to go in there, but somebody did want to go in there. It's just that the owner's not willing to bring the space up to code.
Right, we
to allow the
don't.
use.
An incoming tenant always pays those costs, so.
Well, not always, but it's negotiated.
And it's very difficult for this board to say, you're in the business of leasing space. You're saying you can do it for 85,000 square feet, but you can't do it for here? On this side of the wall, we can't lease it for this, but for every other space we can? That's a very difficult ask of the board. That's your business, is leasing space. But on this side of the wall, we can't. That's what Basso and these guys are saying. When you go through your uses, that there's a lot of tenants still left that have.
I mean, it seems like he'd get a higher square footage rate if it was usable and made to code that somebody can actually go in and use it. So.
Yeah, well, my company's stance on it is they're not gonna, well, I'm not gonna.
Oh, right, to try to make the argument that we have.
They're not gonna put money into something that's sat out for 7 years with so little interest.
But the interest is also predicated on it not being up to code. So it's a chicken and egg situation.
Yeah.
And for us to see that financial hardship, it'd have to show that it didn't meet.
Is that all right?
Because we have to hold that to everyone.
Sure, okay.
Would like to table it?
Yes, please. If I table it and then decide not to pursue it, then I can do that?
That's fine.
Okay, all right, then I'll do that.
So someone like to make a motion to accept the tabling of this matter?
Make a motion?
Second. And then roll in and roll call vote.
Henry Hill.
Yes.
Basso LaForest.
Yes.
Roger Black.
Yes.
Mary Ann Alexander.
Yes.
Patrick Dugan.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Have a good evening.
You too.
The next one is for Robert Dumasel.
You got it.
Okay. Sometimes I'm not the best with last names. 240 Adams Street, Frenton Center. Good. They're asking for an area variance or request to be allowed to construct a 20 by 32 garage with a second floor living quarters, which doesn't meet the total sum of 50-foot required side yard setbacks for an R4 district, encroaching 4 feet on the north side, leaving 16 feet to the property line, and encroaching 16 feet on the south side, leaving 14 feet to the property line. We've had several variances on Adams Drive, so if you're not familiar with it, Alan can go over the details of where and what he's asking for and the structure.
Mr. Chairman, we're back out on Cumberland Head. This is the Rocky Point area, commonly known as Rocky Point area. This is the connector road here. This is the Cumberland Head road here. And we're looking this back area over here, second to the last lot. So you can see this is all zone 4, and most of these lots in here are all pre-existing non-conforming. Used to be just camps. So we're looking at this lot right in here. Here's kind of what it looks like today. It's been kind of cleaned up. You can't really see them, but there are some stakes in here. I'm guessing those are the outline of the building. Correct. This is what they're proposing to build. So there'll be a garage on the bottom and then living quarters above. Just so you can see the different elevation sides. It's the rear, the 2 sides, this is the front. So here's what we're looking at. So the overhang, this balcony area right here, deck overhang, that's what this is right here. So that is 50 feet off the front yard setback. And then the rest of the building itself is another 6 feet back. So he's meeting the front yard, he's also meeting the rear yard setbacks. It's the sides. So the sides are supposed to be 20, minimum 20, and then 30 on the other side. He's proposing 14, 16 to center it in the middle.
Because it's 50 foot of frontage or whatever. And
Yep.
That's all we got.
That's what we got to work with. And
You can take it from there. You can take it from there.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. 20 by 32. I tried to get it centered on the property. I needed 16 on the right side. It gives a little more room to park my pontoon boat, get access to the rear of the lot. There are trees. If you went back, there's trees on the left side, so there's not much room to maneuver on the left side, but the right side should be plenty of room for the access for the rear. 640 square foot, 1-bedroom apartment above. That's about it.
so it would be a rental for you then?
No. We can use that as, our house is on Cumberland Head Road, 261. It's also non-conforming. It's a 50 by 150. So there's no room for a garage there. So this is 3 streets behind us. And it gives us the usage of a 2-car garage with another bedroom above.
Would you be living there?
No. We still live in the house, but it's a lake cottage. We live right across the road from the lake. It's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. This gives us basically another bedroom. We have a lot of visitors that come in.
Okay.
The lake cottage is pretty small, so we have.
So not for renting, but for your own use.
For our own use. The garage
Private
is
visitors,
our own use. The apartment's our own use.
All right, public hearing portion of the meeting is now open to anybody here like to speak to this matter? I do not see anybody raise their hand.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. I just got here.
Talking about Adams Street.
What is it?
Adams Street
Yeah,
and variance for side yard.
I own 14 feet of it, 14, my brother and I bought that a few years ago, and he died. Left half of it with me and his wife. The area you're talking about there?
What? Are you talking about Adams Street?
Pardon?
Adams Street?
I'm on 1479 Cumberland Head Road. That's where I am. It's
Okay.
It's all that same road right through there.
Yeah, but that's not, this
No,
is,
it's not what you're talking about.
no.
But it's what's back in the area.
All right, so
It isn't on the,
So this variance is for 240 Adams Street. This is a variance for 240 Adams.
Yeah,
That's what we're talking about.
okay. I didn't know what you were talking about.
Okay, so he's asking for a variance for side yards going closer to his property line at 240. Did you get a letter from our department saying that there's a meeting tonight?
You guys are just the first people that anybody ever told me anything about what the hell is happening up there. I own 15 acres of property back in there, half of it. That's all I know.
Okay, so this is just for a variance for for the gentleman
Somebody
to.
built a house over there, didn't even ask me that it was whose property it was. Put a house up.
You're on the north side of the connector road. This is on the south side of the connector road. If you look up at the screen.
See the screen right there, sir?
Yeah.
Your house is way up here.
Yeah.
So when you come down to the light, you hang a left and go up, and your house is up that way.
Yep.
So this is, do you remember where the Rocky Point?
Yeah.
Used to be Rocky Point, a little campground area? So that's where his.
Is that the old road going in there?
Yes.
Yeah. I own 15 acres there on that.
Well, yours is on the other side of the road.
Huh?
This is the new connector road right here. Up here on the screen. That's the new connector road. You're up here on the top where I've got that boarding up here.
This is on the complete other side.
Other side of the road you're talking
Yeah.
about?
That is correct.
On the left, looking south.
Maybe you can't see it.
I don't know what
Alan's
you're
got.
talking about.
So it's right here, sir. I'm sorry. You probably can't see that little, the pointer. It's for over here. The variance is asking for here. Your property's on this side. Here's the connector road. Yours is up here. This is for a variance on
Where's
this.
my house at from?
Your house is up here.
Okay, that's all right.
There's a connector road. So you're.
That's the 15 acres.
This is. You're on this side. It's way over here. What he's asking for a variance on this side of the road.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. That's
Okay.
That's the same 15 acres that we left, that my brother and I bought.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a connector between those two lots? No. That splits the extension road cuts? I'm just saying that acreage right there. Is that
Yeah,
what
I
you
don't.
might be talking about?
I don't. If this is his right here, I think his is more up here. So he may have this corner here. I got the roadway through.
Mhm.
But that's it, and that's why you got the letter.
I just want to make sure it's not the lot next door.
No, this one right here. That's there's a lady and her son owns that.
I will close the public hearing portion of the meeting and go to board members. If anybody has any comments or questions, this is a standard thing that happens out in that area. Anybody wants to build anything out there, So. Anybody have any concerns?
No.
So the motion would be to grant the variance as requested.
I'll make a motion to grant the variance as requested.
One second.
And a show of hands on that. And a roll call vote.
Henry Hill,
Yes.
Russell LaForest.
Yes.
Mary Alexander.
Yes.
Roger Black,
Yes.
Patrick Dugan.
Yes.
There you go. Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Thank you. Last but not least is Barrett Whaling. You guys like to come up front and center? This is for 399 Cumberland Head Road. Request to allow to remove a pre-existing non-conforming 12 by 24 detached and replace it with a newly constructed 14 by 30 garage in the same location that does meet the 30-foot side yard setback in an R3 district, encroaching 23 feet into the side yard, leaving 7 foot to the property line. I can go over the details of where it's at.
It's actually front yard, not side yard.
It's in the corner, right?
Yeah. So we're still on Cumberland Head. We're just down the road a little further. We're now in Champlain Park area right here. This is that second entrance into the park, and it's this corner lot right here. So you can see this is all zoned R3, and we're talking about this lot right here. So here's kind of what it looks like. It's the corner lot. This is the garage right now. So right now it's a pre-existing non-conforming. It's only 7 feet off the property line on this side of the road. They want to tear this down, redo it, make it a little wider and a little longer. So here's kind of what it looks like. So, and this is right up to it. So the engineer has given us, this is the existing conditions, that's why I know it's 7 feet right here. Proposed conditions is the same 7 feet, so. Okay, James, all yours.
Yep, pretty basic, 24-foot garage, pulling in from the Iroquois Street, 24-foot deep is not unreasonable, you can't go, actually, that's onto the property anyway, so it wouldn't encroach anymore.
So is your entrance into the garage gonna be from the house side or from Iroquois side?
From Iroquois.
So you only got 7 feet before you're gonna be backing out into the road?
Yeah, similar to what he's got, I don't know if if you pull the house picture up again, I don't know if it shows any cars there, but you can see, cars parked, that's where they park right now, because that's the only driveway on the property, so.
Right, no, I realize, I was just saying.
Yes.
With 7 feet, he's almost gonna be still
You'd have
inside
to
the
be in the
garage
road.
before he's.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to see him pull up.
Where's the garage door gonna be on the new garage?
Is it off of
It's
here?
here.
Coming off the other direction? So when you back out of the garage, what they're saying is you only got 7
Right.
feet. Most vehicles are about 20 feet long, so before you even get out of the garage, you're gonna be in the right was that telling you.
Yeah.
And yet, it's commonly used now for parking.
But you're not inside the garage.
True.
Wait, are you saying cars pull up in front? No, it wouldn't be that.
You can't park.
From
you
where
park
Iroquois
the
to
wall-
But
walkways
there's
in the
no
garage.
obstruction when you're parked right now because, like I said, they're not in the garage. You're not backing out of the garage. You can't see anything until you get out of the garage. That's what they're getting at.
Well, I'm sorry, but to further explain, cars routinely pull in facing that wall of the garage.
Yep.
And this is circa 1960. I've been trying to replace it for several years. It's been an eyesore for a long time. My hope would be that I could use that wall as the two-door entrance because I already park vehicles there now. And there's room to see in backing up.
James, can we get clarification on your design here? Because it looks like the 7 feet is within the variance, not the road.
7 feet would be from the property line.
It doesn't look like that.
Or no, sorry.
It looks like from the envelope of the structure of where this would be to make an offset, but it looks like there's,
Yeah, it'd be 7 feet to the property line, and the property line is,
okay, so you're already coming in 25 feet
yeah, the
here.
property line's 25 feet. So basically 33 feet from the center of the road would be the front of the building.
Okay.
So that 7 foot dimension is from the
Is
building
to the
proposed,
property
well,
line.
that white wall right there.
Yep.
To the property line is, so the property
So
line,
now where that-
7 feet to the property line puts you, here.
Right.
And then you got 25 more feet to the center of the road. If the road's 10 feet, that leaves you 15 feet. So you got like 20 something foot of pavement there. So you could pull a car right here.
But you're parking within the road.
Yeah, I guess right now if they're parking there, they're the back or, well, I guess if they back in the front of the car, part of the car would be right at, at the edge of pavement almost, or the edge of the roadway.
And half the reason for getting that big of a garage is you need that much for storage or?
Yes, as a matter of fact, that garage hasn't been used for a vehicle in many years. So it's currently storage for equipment. I store my boat there some winters.
Public hearing portion of the meeting is now open. Anybody here like to speak to this matter? Don't see anybody raise their hand, so I'll close the public hearing portion of the meeting. And go to board members if they have questions or comments. I know half of it is the septic system's out back, so you couldn't move it any further towards the inside. You didn't keep cracking me down. Yeah. You're supposed to get on me, you know that.
Is there any reason you haven't connected to sewer?
I'm sorry?
Is there any reason you haven't connected to the sewer system?
Well, the existing septic has been functional for use.
Just a question.
Well, one consideration would be, as I spoke with Mr. Moser about when he visited, to draw this diagram. Already incurring the expense of the garage, it would be
ideal for future generations to have town septic.
Yeah.
But I've raised this question with town water and sewer about accessibility of pumping stations. One is a very short distance across Iroquois, but that's privately owned. It used to be Bayview Dairies. So that would have been an option for me. Currently, I would have to traverse my neighbor Hammond's, push under his driveway and traverse his whole front yard.
Is there not enough room to move that, the whole garage further away from the road?
No,
No, the septic system there.
I was going by the diagram.
I mean, maybe a couple feet, but it's,
They're going.
you're supposed to be 10 feet from the septic, you know, too, with your lines, you know, your septic field, so.
I guess I would make a suggestion of entering their garage from the same direction that the current garage is, because I don't see creating a hazard onto the town road is something I would approve.
I guess part of that would be, you can see the garage extends kind of past the house, you know, you'd have to, you know, you can't necessarily pull in and, you know, because the house is here, so it'd be kind of a, I guess a one door would fit there probably, but getting a second car in there would be pretty tight with that.
You would almost be doing the same thing because it's you backing out, having.
But you're on your own property.
You'd be making a U-turn basically in your driveway.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
With 7 feet, I don't see anyone backing out of that garage in a safe manner or causing a hazard to the other people on the road.
Well, it'd be, you got 7 feet plus 15, it's paved there, but it's, I see what you're saying.
I'm
You
just
got
saying.
22 feet till you hit the road.
We would be
That's
approving someone to back out onto the road before they'd even be out of their facility, and I don't see that happening.
Well, allow me to contest that if you could put the photo back up. Yeah, currently, visitors routinely park here and the back of their car goes no further than this. So this is the swale, the culvert that goes through here. I often have my boat here, utility trailer, or when I have guests, they park this way with plenty of room for a sight picture.
It'd be no different than backing down a 50-foot driveway. You get to the road, you stop, you look, you back in the road and go. It's just, and you got 20, if there's 20 feet, that's longer than a car. So you'll be fully out of the garage before your bumper's in the road.
Well, is there 7 feet or more than 7 feet?
7 feet to the property
line, but there's still.
I guess usually this wouldn't be paved, you know, the town right away, it'd be like grass probably, you know, and then but in this case it is paved, so it'd be you got 7 feet to the property line and then 15 feet or so to the road. So you got 23 feet from garage to actual town road.
So the car would be totally out of the.
Yeah, so 20 feet.
So what happens if the town goes in there and puts in drainage ditches and puts up a swale through there?
They won't.
What happens when the town goes through there, because they need more drainage from there, and then now your garage doors are blocked?
I guess it'd be a culvert under a driveway, just like it would be for any other. My driveway at home, I got a culvert, you know, my driveway goes right over the culvert. You put a culvert where the grass starts there, shoot it, I don't know where you'd go with it, all the way to the lake or across Cumberland Head Road or something, but.
Can I ask you a question? Where are we talking about here? Are we talking about the beach down there?
No, past that.
Huh?
Past that.
Past that?
Yeah.
Do you know where the old Bayview Dairy was?
Yeah.
It's right next door to there.
Okay.
Where the guy built a house right next to Bayview Dairy, it's right next to that house, or right where the new house is.
How far down in it are you talking about?
The Bayview Dairy, where it was, it's right next door to there.
Okay. My brother owned the beach right there. Well, he died, and he ended up giving it to his wife. And he's not here today, Elaine. And he owned a lot of property all through that area. And I own some property coming down from my house that about 3-4 acres there that I just want to get rid of. And I've been paying taxes on them for the last 20 years, and Elaine only pays her half, and without paying them. She gets away with it, and I gotta pay it, you know? It's getting ridiculous with it, that way that, what's operations down there. Even at 15 acres, my brother, I got a brother that he's part of that ownership, of Elaine and myself. And Elaine never pays any taxes at all, and he has to pay her taxes for him. I don't know if you know that.
No, that's, we're here for a variance for a garage.
She's not here today, is she?
No, this is for a garage.
Huh?
This is for a garage variance. That's not for.
Okay, I don't even know where you're talking about.
Okay.
I mean, all I know that for my house, right, there's a big lot right next door.
Okay, that's not what we're talking about,
Going
sir.
down the hill, towards the fire station there. That's part of my part of the thing.
Okay.
And I gotta pay taxes on them, and I want to get rid of them. I thought this was about that property.
No, sir.
No? Okay.
No.
What about the 15 acres back in behind there?
It's not about that either.
It's on the road, the old road.
It's not about that either.
Huh?
We're talking down by the Bayview Dairy. That's what this.
Way down.
Way, not even near that property.
Okay, you're talking a different area.
Okay.
All right, if I actually do my job over here.
Well, Elaine doesn't pay her taxes, and she gets away with it. I don't know how you guys do that.
We have nothing to do with taxes.
Well, the tax people think there was something to do.
Okay. Whether the benefit can be achieved by other means feasible for the applicant. And where else do we put it on this property where they're showing? Undesirable change in neighborhood character or to nearby properties, this is going to make it better, I would believe.
Think.
Yeah. And where the request is substantial, it's actually staying in the same basic footprint as the existing garage and going into his own property. And whether the request will have adverse physical or environmental effects, I don't see any of those on this. So,
Except we'd be approving the exit into the road.
exit into.
Okay.
And actually, a lot of those houses out that way are about 20 feet of driveway, and that's it. And that's almost what you have here.
A guy just built a house over there on that property. It was on my 15 acres, and I got nothing out of it.
You need to talk to your own attorney then, sir.
They sold it without even asking me.
Okay, that's nothing to do with us.
Well, she must have got through you.
It didn't get through us.
You're involved in it. I paid his electricity, so
Sir,
Elaine wouldn't.
Sir, that's not this board.
I know, but I paid him.
Sir, that's
Elaine
not this
wouldn't pay his
board.
electricity to the house, but he sold him the house.
Sir, that's
Huh?
not what this board's here for.
Okay, I don't know what this is for. Why'd they call me here today?
Because you're within 500 foot. The variance 3 ago, or was within 500 feet of your property. So we inform everybody within 500 feet. The variance 3, one that was 2 variances ago, is within 500 feet of your property, not this one.
Okay. Well, I don't know what you're talking about. If you want to get rid of some of the property, do it. I'll go with you.
Okay.
So can we have a motion to either approve this variance or deny this variance?
I'll go for
Approve the variance,
I'll second.
and a second, and roll call, or a show of hands, then a roll call vote.
Henry Hale,
Yes.
Russell Forrest,
No,
Mary Ann Alexander.
Yes.
Roger Black,
yes.
Patrick Duhane.
Yes. Thank you guys. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Second.
No, you.
I didn't hear it first.
Yeah, he did.
I did it.
You guys would like to join us for the fair inspections? Those are also good ones.